Hello and welcome to a brand new Football Manager series with Tottenham Hotspur. I've basically played this entire Football Manager game as teams that are struggling financially, and I thought, you know what, let's do something a little bit different. Let's pick a team who've got some money, who are notoriously well known for not spending any of it either. So we're going to go with Tottenham Hotspur. My objectives for this save is basically to try and win the league. And if you've seen any of my other series, things like my Burton Albion stuff that I was doing at the start of the game, USL Dunkirk, you'll know that I don't win things. Very rarely do I win things anyway. So winning something with Tottenham is going to be a challenge. As this is the first episode of the series, we are probably going to do a hell of a lot, but a lot of it is going to be cut out. What I'm going to do is I am going to go and try and do some transfers. I'm going to sort out my tactics, although I do know what tactics I'm going to play, so I'm going to show you that in just a second, but I'm going to do a load of transfers. I'm going to do the entirety of pre-season off camera, and then we will return for episode 1. I say episode 1, we're already in episode 1, the first game of the season, which is going to be Bournemouth. We'll probably only do one match in this episode. I don't know how many seasons this save is going to be. 2 or 3 is kind of what I'm looking at. It might go 5 seasons long. I don't know. Formation-wise then, we've got 2 formations that I'm going to be using predominantly. We have a 4-1-4-1 DM wide control possession. This is just the literal custom, or not custom, the preset control possession as a 4-1-4-1 DM wide, basically. So yeah, we're going to go with that as one of our options, and then we're going to go with this custom gegenpress that I've been using on my Dunkirk save recently. It seems to be doing quite a good job, so we're going to see whether Tottenham can do it as well. I am most definitely not one of those Football Manager players that looks at the players we've got and goes, let's build a tactic to work to their strengths. I am a Jurgen Klopp. What I do is I have my style of play, and if the players can't play it, then I will move them on, or I will force them to try and play it. And then if they don't play it very well, then I will move them on. So if you're kind of thinking, why am I playing a certain player in the wrong position? It's because I'm refusing to play them in their right position. So like Eric Dyer will probably be this defence midfielder, or this halfback for the entire season. If you think he should be a centre-back or a central midfielder, you're wrong. That's how I'm going to play it. Let's take a look at the financial side of things then at Tottenham. £53 million in the bank. As we know, they're going to have a fair bit of money. 12.5 million to spend. It's not as much as I was hoping for. We do have, if we actually look at the first team, we do have a bunch of players here who are worth a bit of cash, who we might be able to shift on. I mean, some of these top ones, probably not. But maybe like a Kieran Trippier, he's wanted by someone. Maybe if we sell Trippier for £40 million, we can reinvest it. Moussa Sissoko, he's probably wanted by China. Yes, he is. We can reinvest that money as well. So we've got the options to try and sell some players, trying to get some money in. We've also got our new stadium that we will be moving into near the end of the first season, the 6th of the 4th, which I think was actually where they did move in real life, didn't they? I am using the the winter update from SI. There's no custom databases, no nothing like that on here. So basically, everything that's happened in between then and now, it's not going to be in the game. Welcome to Tottenham Hotspur. Thank you, Daniel Levy. We are not going to bother with your meetings. We don't need to know these things. Transfer obligations. We have a lot of people out on loan. The biggest one is, we've got Cameron Carter-Vickers is out on loan. Josh Anoma's also half decent as well. A bunch of injuries for players. Victor Wanyama. Right, this is going to be a controversial thing. Victor Wanyama is very good as a halfback. I'm probably going to use him a lot more than most Tottenham players, or Tottenham fans would use him. So Victor Wanyama is definitely in my plans, which is really weird because in real life, he's not really, is he? Tactics inductions and training inductions, we don't need to know about that. Pre-season fitness reports, a bunch of people are in top condition, some people have come back injured, and that's what's happened so far in the transfer window. Right, we are going to go to a fade to black, and the other side of it, we're going to have pre-season out of the way, transfer business is going to be done, and we are going to be ready for the first game of the season. We have made it to the 10th of August. The transfer window has closed because we are just one day away from the start of the season. We have done some transfer business. It's not a huge amount. We've loaned out a few players. We've sold one player. We've bought in about 3, I think. And we've loaned in one player as well. The loanee player that we've got, you might think is a bit of a waste of time. And you might be right. I don't know yet. First up, 2 players to join the club on free transfer. Stefan Dafalski is a Bulgarian goalkeeper who we signed on a free transfer. I looked at our squad and went, we probably need some more goalies, and then realised I didn't look at my under-23s and realised we had 3 in there. So he's joined the club and gone immediately out on loan to QPR. And then I thought it was last year's game and signed Jay Quitongo, who's formerly of Morton and Partick Thistle. I've then immediately loaned him out to Macclesfield. Both of those 2 players coming in on a free transfer. Probably our biggest signing of the summer is 18-year-old Italian midfielder Sandro Tonali from Brescia. He has gone back on loan to Brescia because I'm an idiot. Basically, I got the director of football to do this deal, and he did a whole load of offers and went, actually, yeah, that'll do, I'll take him. It's about 5 million in total, but it was about 2 million up front. Problem is, we've loaned him back to Brescia until the end of the season, which is not ideal because I kind of wanted to play him this year. 1.9 million up front, potentially going to 5.25 with add-ons. I don't think that's too bad. A player that I always try and get if I have the money is Spanish attacking midfielder Peleo Marilla from Sporting Gijon. He has cost about £1.3 million, I think, £1.8 million, which is his minimum fee release. If you can get him early on in the save, he will go for that for pennies. Basically, I always buy him because he turns into a world-class player. We don't play an attacking midfielder in the middle, so he's going to be retraining to be a striker. Because he's only 17 years old, he probably will become a striker fairly quickly. Another hot young prospect to join the club is 19-year-old Dutch central defender. No, it is not Matthijs de Ligt. It is Rick van Drongelen, who is signed from Hamburg in Germany. He's cost a fair bit of money, probably too much money, £6.75 million. That's the total cost. Although I think we're paying like 2 million up front and then the rest of it is over the next 3 years. So he's not costing a huge amount straight away. He's only 19 years old. He's going to be a backup for the season. We've already had a loan offer from him. I think it was Blackburn came in for him. Lots of clubs do want him on loan. He's not going anywhere because I want him in our first team getting a lot of training time with the first team players. And finally, we've loaned Scott McTominay from Manchester United until the end of the season. We're paying all of his wages, which is only £28,000. Actually, it's not all of his wages. We're paying some of his wages. I don't know. We're paying some money for him. He's come in as a backup, so if he doesn't play, Manchester United aren't going to get annoyed. He probably shouldn't get annoyed either. But I've got him in because he's a natural box-to-box midfielder. He can also play as a half-back, a defensive midfielder as well if we need him. So he's a versatile player, is what I'm trying to say. The only player to leave the club on a permanent deal is Fernando Llorente, the 33-year-old Spanish striker, has gone to Newcastle for £1.5 million, potentially going up to £1.8 million. Tottenham spent £12 million on that man. That is a stupid amount of money. He's 33 years old. He's still pretty good, but for a 33-year-old, that is excessive. We have also loaned out Luke Amos, Oliver Skipp, Carl Walker-Peters, Japet Tanganga, maybe. And that is all of them, actually. Carl Walker-Peters, obviously the biggest name there. He's gone out on loan to Watford for the season. We've already got 2 right-backs in Trippier and... I think it's Trippier. And, what's his name? Aurea. So I thought having a third is probably a bit excessive. So he is going to get an entire season of football at Watford, hopefully. Because we didn't spend a huge amount of money in the summer, we do still have £7.5 million. We are not going to be looking at spending too much more of that. Ideally, throughout the next few months up until January, we can possibly get that number higher somehow by, obviously our overall balance is going to increase through TV money and this, that and the other. So maybe by the time we hit January, we might have a £20 million transfer budget. Then we can start looking at players. Otherwise, we're not going to touch it until the new season. Just before we get to the Bournemouth game, then let's take a look at the season preview. We are expected to be finishing 4th place in the table. I'd take 4th. To be honest, 4th is probably quite good for the start of the save. In terms of the dream team, Vertonghen, Eriksen and Kane all in there. All 3 of them will be playing week in, week out. Eriksen's a question because of our formation. Obviously, he's not really a central midfielder. He's more of an attacking midfielder. He will still be playing as a central midfielder, though. If we click on Tottenham there, so they reckon my projected lineup is going to be something like that. It's definitely not. It's really not going to be like that at all. We are going to be playing 4 at the back, a defensive midfielder, 3 central midfielders and 2 strikers. They say our hot prospect is Peleo Murillo, which I'm kind of surprised but also not surprised because he is very good. We need, really, to be performing very well in the opening few games of the season because we've got a fairly easy start until we play Manchester United on the 25th of August. But, you know, Bournemouth, Cardiff, Leicester, maybe we should get 9 points out of those. Wembley Stadium then, our temporary home plays host to Tottenham versus Bournemouth. Bournemouth, I think, on this game are actually a very good side. I was trying to steal Lewis Cook away from them, but they wanted £100 million for him, so let's maybe have a look at him in January or possibly even the summer. Because the World Cup has just happened in game, a lot of our players have only just returned. Literally, they returned on the 6th of August. We're now on the 11th of August. So we've got a lot of players who aren't match fit, so there will be some slightly questionable names in the starting 11. In goal is going to be Hugo Lloris. He is only 50% match fit, but he's a goalkeeper. He should be fine. Kieran Trippier, Davison Sanchez, Jan Vertonghen and Ben Davies will be the back four. Normally, Sanchez wouldn't be playing. Alderweireld would be playing. He is on the bench. Normally, Ben Davies wouldn't be playing. Danny Rose will be playing. He is also on the bench. Eric Dyer will be that defensive midfielder with the strange midfield trio. I say strange because you wouldn't expect any of them to be really playing in these positions. Moussa Sissoko is going to be a Carrilero. Christian Eriksen is going to be a box-to-box midfielder. And Dele Alli is going to be a roaming playmaker in the middle of the two. That's the questioning part. Dele Alli is not a roaming playmaker, but he's arguably one of the best players in our team. I say arguably, he's one of the best players in our team. And I'm thinking, he's still only young. Give him enough time training in that position, he'll become a very good roaming playmaker. The two strikers are going to be Son Heung-min and Harry Kane. Harry Kane's still 52% match conditioning. He really isn't going to last the full match, so Lucas Moura is probably going to come on at some point. Also on the bench, Scott McTominay is there, and youngster Rodell Richards, who, if we have a quick look at him, I think he's just turned 17. I think he's got a very bright future ahead of him, so I'm going to try and get him into the first team occasionally when we can. Bournemouth look like they are quite wary of our attack as they're going very defensive, although I suspect that's probably Bournemouth's normal starting lineup, isn't it, with a back four and a defensive midfielder just in front. To be honest, we're playing the same thing. Callum Wilson is going to be their main goal threat. Lewis Cook is playing. Which annoys me because I tried to sign him, obviously. I've just had to spend about 5 minutes playing around with the in-match camera because when you start a new game and a new save, for some reason it resets all of your settings. So I have no idea whether the 3D match camera is actually going to be any good. We are almost 20 minutes in, and so far we've had nothing at all happen. One shot from Bournemouth wasn't highlight worthy, apparently. We're almost at half-time. We have had a shot. We've had 2 shots, still no highlights though. Well, that was an exciting first half of football, wasn't it? 5 shots in total, 1 shot on target, not a single highlight. What a great way to start the season. We're going to give everyone an angry team talk. We are going to start this as we mean to go on. Most of my team talks will either be calm or angry. There is no middle ground. I have not done any changes. We are hoping that the angry team talk is going to do the job. 50 minutes in and we have the first proper highlight of the match. Vertonghen with the ball to Dyer. Dele Alli back to Dyer. Sissoko, who had a bit of interest over the summer transfer window, but he didn't leave the club. Trippier crosses in. Harry Kane is there on the volley. And we're 1-0 up. 50 minutes on the clock. Our first highlight, our first effort on goal, really, that we managed to see. And it is 1-0 thanks to Harry Kane. Once the boys start rolling with this, we are going to be steamrolling teams. I'm thinking Son needs to be coming off. I was going to bring off Harry Kane, but Son is on a 6.3. Oh, we're doing it. Rodell Richards already. Rodell Richards is going to be coming on for Son Heung-min. We need to probably bring off like a Dele Alli for Scott McTominay. Sure. Do we rearrange you? Yes, we do. Right. Eriksen is now going to be that roaming playmaker. Box-to-box midfielder of Scott McTominay. I'm saving the final substitution for Lucas Moura for Harry Kane because Harry Kane is going to be very tired come the end of the match. Davies to Dyer. Plays it all the way across. Sissoko, a bit of space. Goes for goal. Tries to curl it in. Instead, it's gone wide and it's going to be a goal kick. Final 20 minutes. Wolves are top of the table at the moment. Now Burnley are top of the table. Right, we need to do this final sub. Although, weirdly, Harry Kane's looking alright. It's some of these other players, like a Ben Davies looks absolutely shattered. What's going on with him? Right, change of plan. Davison Sanchez is coming off for Alderweireld to try and get some match fitness up for Alderweireld. We've got just over 10 minutes to play. We're 1-0 up. It's not the most convincing of victories, but it's going to be 3 points if it stays this way. Almost at the 90-minute mark, but we have a highlight. Bournemouth plays the ball forward. Callum Wilson into the area. He's going to go for goal. Lloris saves it. Gets tackled as well. It's going to be a goal kick. It is a goal kick. We got away with that. 93 minutes now on the clock. McTominay hits the ball into his own chest, and it is a 1-0 victory against Bournemouth. It was not the best of matches, was it? but at least we managed to get the 3 points. So 1 game into the season, obviously very early days, 8th place in the table, 8 teams won, only 2 matches ended in a draw, so there's quite a big number of teams on 3 points, a big number of teams also on 0 points. Arsenal and Liverpool. Admittedly, I think Liverpool were playing Manchester City and Arsenal might have been playing Chelsea, so that kind of makes sense. I've got it round the wrong way. Man City were playing Arsenal, Chelsea were playing Liverpool. Anyway, we are 8th place in the table. A couple more days has passed and we've had some issues, shall we say. I've accepted an offer for Eric Lamela. He's transfer listed, by the way. Eric Lamela might be going out on loan to Real San Sebastian. They're going to buy him for £15 million at the end of the loan deal. I have no plans on playing Eric Lamela, so he's going to be off anyway if someone wants him. And Victor Wanyama is unhappy because Real Madrid bid for him. They bid £29 million and I immediately rejected it. He's now disappointed that I didn't let him leave to join Real Madrid. A few players also went, yeah, let Victor Wanyama leave to Real Madrid. I don't want to let him leave to Real Madrid. So, yeah, we've got a little bit of an argument here with the Kenyan, but he's not going anywhere. We are going to end the episode here just before the Cardiff game. Next episode is going to be 2 matches, Manchester United and Southampton. The team that I support, Southampton, just in case you weren't aware. Normally, the way these episodes work, what I will do at the start of the episode, I will have a rundown of any matches that happened in between episodes. So, start of next episode, I'll talk about the Cardiff and Leicester games very briefly because there's only 2 matches in there. Then we'll go through any transfers, if any transfers happen, and then we'll have the 2 matches. Normally, I'll try and pick some matches that will mean something. If there's no matches, particularly early on in the season, that mean anything, it'll just be a big team, maybe something like that. And then we'll end up kind of with a little roundup of having a look at the league, things like that. So yeah, we are 8th place in the table. Obviously, 1 game in. It wasn't the most convincing victory against Bournemouth, but we scored a goal, we got 3 points, we got a clean sheet. We have started the season off as well as can be expected. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Football Manager 2019 with Tottenham Hotspur. If you did enjoy, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like, if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, and I'll be back next time for Manchester United and Southampton.